Picture this: a US government agency, not building rockets or running spy ops, but funding a professional cycling team with one mission: win the Tour de France. Sounds like the plot of a political thriller, verdad? But from 1995 to 2004, this happened. The US Postal Service became the unlikely engine behind America's boldest experiment in sporting soft power. Over alpine climbs and inside backroom deals, glory and deception raced neck and neck. This is the story of ambition dressed as patriotism, of myth built on muscle and marketing, and of truth, the kind that eventually catches up, no matter how fast you're pedaling. In the early 1990s, the USPS was losing relevance. The internet was taking over. FedEx and UPS were eating their lunch, and politicians whispered about privatization. The brand felt forgotten. But then came Patrick McGovern, Chief Marketing Officer, and his pitch, bold, almost absurd. Let's sponsor a cycling team. Not just for ads, not for PR stunts. He saw it as cultural diplomacy, a revival of public trust. Postcards with national pride, stamped with the USPS logo. Internally, the project was slotted alongside arts funding and cultural exchange programs. This wasn't just about visibility. This was a brand revolution wrapped in spandex. Still, taxpayer money was now riding bikes across Europe, and nobody really knew if this was genius or madness. Ambassadors on bikes, cycling as diplomacy. Let's be clear, USPS wasn't a private company. It ran on stamp revenue, yes, but it answered to Congress. So, when that blue jersey started appearing in European races, it wasn't just marketing, it was America showing up. Could a cycling jersey carry more influence than a diplomatic cable? That was the idea. Athletes became unofficial emissaries. They shook hands at embassies. They smiled in photo ops with dignitaries. They were dressed in lycra, but performing foreign relations. Inside USPS memos, this was framed as soft power activation. Boost the brand. Boost America. But back in DC, not everyone was sold. Congressional debates started bubbling. Was this inspired strategy, or public money gone rogue? Journalists started poking. Are we mailing diplomacy now, or just delivering postcards begging for a reason to exist? To some, the campaign looked brilliant. To others, embarrassing. Either way, politics had entered the peloton, and the stakes were about to get personal. From death's door to the podium, Armstrong's surreal comeback. A kid from Texas, fierce, gifted, and nearly taken down by cancer in 1996. Tumours in his lungs, spots on his brain. Doctors didn't sugarcoat it. The odds were grim. But Armstrong didn't just survive, he transformed. He came back in 1999 stronger than anyone expected and took the yellow jersey. First American to do it since 1988. It was more than a win. It was a narrative, tailor-made for a country hungry for hope. And the USPS? They leaned in hard. Posters, commercials, DVDs. Delivering the American dream, the tagline read. He wasn't just a cyclist anymore. He was a myth. And USPS had its hero. Lance's face appeared on everything from magazine covers to mail trucks. People cried watching him, cheered him, believed in him, but as with all myths, it's what you can't see that matters most. The dark engine behind the dream, structured doping. Behind the glory was something darker. What had started as whispers grew into something terrifyingly real. The USPS team wasn't just dominating, they were operating with surgical precision. EPO injections, blood transfusions, custom lab routines carried out like military drills. Whistleblowers, like Floyd Landis and Tyler Hamilton, later revealed how deep it went. Code words, coolers filled with suspicious vials. Doctors on planes paid with USPS sponsorship dollars. Landis even described it as a secret government, self-funded, self-protected. Journalists traced receipts, doctor invoices, courier services. The money trail? It led straight back to the USPS. So while fans were watching Armstrong climb into history, what they didn't see was the system underneath, pushing each pedal. And yet, the legend held strong, until it couldn't anymore. It started quietly. In 2006, Floyd Landis won the Tour. Days later, he failed a drug test. That opened the floodgates. More whistleblowers, more allegations, more investigations. By 2012, USADA dropped the bomb. Lance Armstrong was stripped of all 7 Tour de France titles. They called the doping system the most sophisticated sporting conspiracy in US history. Congress got involved. Embassies distanced themselves. And Armstrong, he finally admitted it all. Live on national television. A myth, unraveled in front of millions. And for USPS, the fallout was swift. No more sponsorship, no more diplomacy, no more mail trucks parading a lie. What started as a dream turned into an international embarrassment. The aftershocks, reputational ruin and ethical reckoning. So, what now? The USPS took a reputational beating. Trust plummeted. Audits tightened. Budget debates flared. People wanted to know, was it worth it? In the cycling world, the effects were even harsher. New doping rules, surprise inspections, athletes banned, some careers destroyed, cycling had to clean up, or lose the fans forever. The USPS shut down its sports programs. No more embassies, no more jerseys, no more soft power. The experiment was over. But the questions it left behind? They're still with us. Soft power, shattered dreams, and the cost of ambition. Looking back, the whole saga feels conflicted. Yes, it showed how sports can carry symbolism, even diplomacy, but it also proved what happens when ambition outruns accountability. A cycling team meant to inspire a nation ended up betraying it. And Lance? He's no longer the hero. He's the warning. The USPS returned to its core mission: mail, packages, operational fixes instead of podium dreams. Meanwhile, cycling's anti-doping efforts are tougher than ever, but the scars remain. So what do we take from this? When does passion become propaganda? When does soft power become a hard lie? And when it all comes crashing down, who picks up the pieces? This was never just a story about cycling. It was about trust. And what happens when a nation trades it for a chance at glory? The USPS reached for the world stage and fell. Because in the end, real power isn't in medals or headlines. It's in integrity. So now we ask you, where do you draw the line? If this story struck a chord, check out the sources in the description. Let us know in the comments. What other national obsessions should we dig into next? And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. You keep stories like this alive.